You want to talk about division? I've got a whole list of divisive quotes from my friends across the aisle. It starts at the very top. President Biden said, and this is just days before what happened in Pennsylvania, he said that we need to put a bullseye on President Trump. That was President Biden. Former Speaker Pelosi said, and I quote, "You have to be ready to take a punch, and therefore you have to be ready to throw a punch for the children." Senator John Tester, "I don't think, even in states where Donald Trump won big, that it does you any good running away from Donald Trump. I think you need to go back and punch him in the face." That was a quote from John Tester. Here's Joe Biden again. I quote, "I said, if I were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him." Congresswoman Maxine Waters, she said this quote, "And with this kind of inspiration, I will go and take out Trump tonight." And for the vice president, she too is engaged in some divisive rhetoric. When asked in April 2018 if you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? You know how the vice president responded? She said, "Does one of us have to come out alive?" So save me the rhetoric on divisiveness. I think the American people know where the divisive language is coming from. But let's go back to the vice president and her role as border czar. At least that's what the media was calling her up until about 3 days ago. When Harris was tapped to be border czar, she promised to, quote, undo President Trump's border policies. And unfortunately for the American people, she made good on that promise. The Biden-Harris administration has referred to the influx of illegals as newcomers. Their word, newcomers, not illegal immigrants. She has called for the decriminalization of illegal border crossings. Border czar Harris has even supported free health care and mass amnesty for illegal immigrants. And so the question is, who pays the price for this incompetence? Well, that answer is simple. That's the American people. The border crisis has cost the United States approximately $150.7 billion every single year. That's over $1,100 per year per every American taxpayer. In southwestern Pennsylvania, my congressional district, we're one of the epicenters of the opioid crisis. Since the passage of H.R. 2, over 17,000 pounds of fentanyl have been seized at the southern border. And to get your head around how much that actually is, well, that's enough fentanyl to kill over 3.8 billion people. Nearly 15 Pennsylvanians die from drug overdoses every single day. And like I said earlier in the debate, in the United States, roughly 300 Americans every single day die of a fentanyl overdose. Now, we've also heard horror stories like the murder of Laken Riley. Laken was a 22-year-old from Georgia who was killed by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. Another American, Rachel Morin of Maryland, she was a mother of 5, by the way. She was raped and brutally murdered by an illegal from El Salvador. Her brother Michael stated after her death, and I quote her brother, "Joe Biden and his designated border czar, Kamala Harris, opened our borders to him and others like him, empowering them to victimize the innocent. Yet to this day, we have not heard from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. They never apologized," end quote. These brutal deaths are a direct result of border czar Harris's inaction and failed policies. That's why this week, House Republicans will rightfully condemn the Biden-Harris administration for their epic failure at the southern border. And House Democrats, well, they'll stand over there and continue to support and stand by the border czar, Vice President Harris, since they are complicit partners in this man-made disaster at our southern border. This disaster has impacted every community in our nation.